So welcome everyone to the Eternity's developers and researchers update call. We are in the 50th week of 2019, so 2 more weeks to go, and we are in 2020. And yeah, we're making a public stand-up and recording from each team, or like everyone who's working on a major component, a short update and share this with the community. So I've seen today the core dev channel was quite busy. We are investigating some sync stuff, but I guess, Sergey, you can tell us about that and also about what was going on in the past week.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay, hi everyone. So like this week, the beginning of the week was business as usual, preparing for the release, closing features. So we're still testing the garbage collector, which status the same basically as the last week. It's more ready. We're testing, haven't found any bugs, but again, since it's touching the system and a lot of sensible points, we decided that we will really thoroughly test before letting it out. And if it goes like this, till like for the next week, we probably will have it released with the next release 5.4.0, I believe. Then we are doing improvements to Sophia. So Hans has merged his nice new type of transactions which can be paid on behalf of someone. So if basically where you have a third party which can pay gas for the transaction's execution. State channels team, I probably won't even say anything because Dimitar is here, so he can explain it much better than us. And suddenly, a few days ago, this business as usual was interrupted when we started getting messages from the exchanges and from other users who were observing a large numbers of orphan blocks. So basically the blocks were mined, but weren't propagated to the network. And this is an issue, this is especially an issue for the pools, because like some of the pools, when the block is mined, the payout is paid, but it's not included into the network, and then there is no coin base. So we have several suggestions why it might be happening. So basically it's like in a perfect storm combination of several factors. It's like I think in Sophia, we were talking about an issue that we've noticed several weeks ago, that we don't prune dead nodes, and they just keep them in our list. Our nodes try to connect them instead of like refreshing the list of the active nodes and talking constantly to the nodes which are alive. And then also a few weeks ago, we reduced the number of our own nodes, like to diminish the role Eternity plays in the infrastructure. And looks like those two factors has caused those interruptions in the way the blocks are synced. And right now we're looking like in two directions. First is like the quick solution, basically some dirty hacks, which will allow us to restore the stability of the network. I mean, I think several minutes ago, our DevOps Dincho has increased the limits of the seed nodes, so we could allow nodes to talk to a larger connections of the peers. And we are considering whether we should bring back the node that we shut down, but again, we're still not sure whether it's a good solution for the problem. And in the parallel, we are working on the proper fix, like on the which will, first of all, refreshing the list and pruning those dead peers and talking only to the peers that are active. And I think we should be ready by the beginning of the next week. And yeah, hopefully this will keep our network going. Well, it will keep our network going. The question is what will happen with this issue.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's quite good, and it's quite nice that we are also talking directly to some of the pools and noticing these things. And yeah, I think for me, this is business as usual. I mean, at the end of the day, we are writing software here. And as long as we have ideas and hunting these little improvements, I think everything is fine. And yeah, thank you for this detailed update. Also, if somebody else notice anything while interacting with the network, reach out to Sergey or Dincho or anyone else in the team and provide whatever information you have. this can always help in narrowing down what might have caused this. Thank you, Sergey, for that update. And I know that also Andrea was in touch with some of the exchanges, and also, you also have a look at the middleware and the SDK development. So please give us your update from your side.
Hello. So yes. So well, I think Sergey already addressed the issue about the network. I will just report what there are updates from the the SDK, JavaScript, Python, and Go, and for the eternal middleware. So there are no big changes in terms of new functionalities. Most of the effort now is been targeted to improve the reliability of the SDKs, and for that we are also as an output of the Sophia workshop, we are now targeting more aggressively tests against the latest changes on the node. This is for all the SDKs, and in general, the attention has been dedicated more on coverage of tests for the SDKs, and we hope that this will improve the reliability of the SDKs going on. There is just I will just specifically say something about the JavaScript SDKs. There is a minor release that's been released this week, and is related to address the small changes that has been introduced in the Node 5.2.0 for state channels. So if you're using state channels, it's warmly suggested to upgrade to this release. There is no new release for the Python SDK or the Go. One change for the Go SDK that might be interesting for people who are using contracts is that now the Go SDK supports the dry run call for contracts. And finally, for the Eternity middleware, a very nice addition that we hope that will be out soon. We have been working with the core team also in Sophia to be able to access contract side effects when they happen during the normal life of a node. So we may be soon be able to notify the users about the transactions that are happening inside the contract. We will not be able to see them before.
Really cool.
And this is all from my side.
Cool, quite a big update, and yeah, especially also interesting with those side effects. I think it's a very, very needed and useful feature. Thank you, Andrea. I see in our chat rooms that Juraj can't join today. He was working on microblocks and parallel validations, and he was also investigating these think synchronization issues that we've had, and also Keno and Pivo are not able to join, but they also wrote me a little update. So in the governance app, in the graffiti app, and in the app boilerplates that they have built, they optimized how they do requests to the node and to the middleware, which made it more than 30% smaller and way more efficient. All the applications that they have built, they added support for unit and integration testing, and added examples to the boilerplate they provide. And they put out the governance poll contract bytecode verification, which means they now try to verify that each poll contract added to the registry, and determine if they used the contract or another one, which can be deployed on the network. At the end, they added some social media tags to all apps, so they look nicer when people share stuff on social media, which is also, I think, a smart and nice thing. Actually, we started with the protocol team, and I still see 2 more people here from the protocol team. So I would give the word to Dimitar and let us tell what's happening in the state channel section.
Hey, so I was wondering how to explain you what we're doing now, because it's really deep into the belly of state channels. Basically, having Alexander around is extremely helpful for us, as he provides us really nice user experience, how he feels from certain stuff, and whenever he stumbles into something, most probably everyone else would stumble upon it. So what he was doing is doing parallel channels with the same responder and different initiators, as would a regular coffee shop do. And this resulted in some race conditions with nonces and invalidating generalized accounts authentication, which is funny thing to debug and track. So this took us quite a while to get around, and it's at the moment it's fixed. It's in a PR already. There is this static analysis test that is still failing, but this is sort of done. Other thing that we're working as well is providing much more optimized chain watcher functionality. Basically, all the channels that are living on the same node require notifications. They basically subscribe to notifications whenever something changes on the channel, on the chain regarding this channel. And we're improving this. I don't have any numbers at the moment, how much better it's going to be, but I think it's safe to say like more than 60% optimization, which is great. But this is still not finished. So yeah, we're deep into the belly of the beast.
Really nice, and but I think it's always noteworthy that these are all improvements. But still, if somebody wants to play around with state channels, they can basically do that today, and they can also reach out in the forum and ask if they run into issues. And yeah, there is a implementation out there, and that supports state channels. And if you want to play around with this, it is possible. And everything we are doing right now are basically also huge improvements and just things that pop up and will pop up all the time in the future in order to make stuff better and more efficient. Thank you very much, Dimitar. Next one in line is Carol, also from the Erlang protocol team. So Carol, please let us know how your week was.
Yeah, hi. So this week I implemented the two-phased swap on the garbage collector, which should fix the potential issue, which in some very bad circumstances could happen, that you would end up with a corrupted database. And so this way, whenever, even if node crashes in the middle of garbage collection, it shouldn't really matter. And the issue is basically solved. I was working on a test and doing a lot of manual testing. So this work should be wrapped up on Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll have another round of reviews to get it to the master branch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for this update. So we went through everyone who is participating from the protocol team. So I go to Andy and Ergap.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just had some problems. I dropped off. Yeah, so this week we, as mentioned last Friday, we finally released a new version 3 of AirGap Wallet and AirGap Vault that has the most noticeable feature is paged QR that allows you to do basically any contract call, and then we are not longer limited by size.
Nice.
Now we are basically wrapping this up, planning the new features, and we also have some user feedback. I think it works for most of the users, but there were a couple that reported issues also in the forum. We are working with them to get those resolved. We have also started to work a little bit on the library, and we want to modularize it a little bit more to make it more approachable for new developers, and also improve the docs and the tutorials. And we did that hand in hand with working on the serialization proposal, the X129. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I've also seen the update and tried it out. I mean, especially also the app update. And yeah, it really goes fast. Really cool. Really good work. So as we're talking about the wallets here, I go to Milan. It's Fine Friday today. So Milan, how's the wallet browser extension going?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So this week we've been mostly focusing on the contract calls in the wallet extension. We've been closely working with the Wadex guys as they are preparing an atomic swap widget. And there were lots of issues that weren't expected in some of the results of the calls. There were some unexpected parsing also results from contract calls, such as parsing bytes 32 or different bytes passed as a parameter to a contract call. So we fixed those. We fixed some minor bugs, such as Transaction Explorer URLs pointing to the old middleware. And we've had a big improvement in the cryptographic library that we used. We used Argon 2 in the past. We now switched to Web Crypto, which improved the performance a lot. Now we've improved a lot in terms of speed and efficiency, where we need to encrypt and decrypt the state. The release is already out, so everyone is able to test it out and see the difference. Also, we've been working and reworking the tipping contract, which is still in the PR and not yet merged, because we are cleaning the claiming procedure. We are thinking of more efficient way to claim tips from different people in a more decentralized way, because we can always do that easily with a centralized solution, but we are trying to make it as decentralized as possible and as efficient as possible. We also had a call together with Philip and Thomas Arts, which helped us out and showed us the quick check framework and how we can make a quick check model of the fungible token. So we've been testing those out, and we had a minor upgrade in the fungible token interface with Pivo, which basically adds a new argument in the init function of the base token, which is called initial supply. So basically, you can pass an initial supply to the token that you are deploying, which is assigned to the owner of the token. This was also addressed in the wallet interface. Now you can also deploy token with initial supply without needing to call the mint function or create tokens after you deploy it. And the usual housekeeping of the repository. We've been cleaning up outdated tests. We've been cleaning up code. And now we've been, the last 2 days, focused on synchronization with the base app team and Stoyan and the guys from Vladivostok, because we'll be more working together in the next days over the wallet.
Really nice. Yeah, really good. I think it's a good approach. And as you have mentioned, Stoyan, maybe you can also say a few words to that. I think in these early stages that we are with, like, knowledge sharing is everything, and you guys do this intensively in the wallet team. So yeah, what are the updates from that side?
Yeah, sure. So we're wrapping up a few things. One of them is moving the list of applications that are currently listed in the base app home view to an HTML page, so that anyone could submit a pull request and we could easily deploy without having to make a new release. It works quite nicely already. It works as an app, so basically you could have your book, even though it's a web page, you could still have your bookmarks, because if you load this web page somewhere where you have a wallet, it will remember which bookmarks you have as an application. And it also works with the metadata expansion proposal. So we basically implemented our own standard because part of the AX process is to provide a reference implementation. So we already created a homepage for this kind of metadata. And once we roll it out next week, we'll basically also ask the expansion repository masters to put into review mode, because we'll basically have the implementation ready. A couple of other things. We came up with a very clever way of handling deep links in a wallet agnostic way. When you work with deep links, you have two options: deep links and URL schema, and neither of them covers all the context, meaning desktop web and mobile web and native mobile. But we came with a clever and more or less decentralized way of handling this, which is basically, as a developer, you include a little module which has a list of wallets predefined, and you can also change this list if you want to. So you basically, out of this list, choose which wallets you're going to support. And if you know nothing about anything, you just go with the default list. And as a user, you get prompted to choose which wallet you want to use from the list the developer is supporting. And we have a filter. So if you're, for example, on desktop and the list includes a mobile wallet, which doesn't work in desktop or vice versa, we have a flag that will auto-filter it for you. And if you're in developer debugging mode, you can turn this flag off and you'll basically see all the wallets, because you may be simulating desktop and mobile for the sake of debugging. So it's a very clever way of serving native in mobile, web and mobile, desktop, web with the same code, and making it easy for both the developers and the users to pick their choice, and then making the signing wallet agnostic in the sense that it could work with any wallet and it's easy for each side. On the app developer side, it's only one line of code to include this, so they don't basically need to know anything. They just choose.
Is there a documentation for this? Like, I'm not 100% sure if, like, not only that one, but like also the other things that you experience from, let's not say a user perspective, but maybe more the developer perspective. Is there like documentation around that on how people can use this if they want to use it?
Sure. So we'll be able to publicly share it either on Monday or Tuesday. We've been refining these filters and things and the kind of all the aspects around it. When we share it, I will share it with a little doc file that basically, a hackmd file, which basically is the documentation. And we'll also like to get everyone's feedback. So we would like, for example, AirGap or the wallet and app developers to look at it and tell us what they think about it. And then we'll make some tweaks if there are tweaks to be suggested. And then if all of this, everyone's happy with it, we would basically resubmit it as what AX4 used to be, which is about deep links. So we're taking the approach here that we first implement, then we get feedback, and once everyone has gotten the chance to give their feedback, then we make a standard, as opposed to discussing endlessly about a standard. And then the last thing is we're still working on things related to the naming system and issues, and we came up with, based on our conversations in Sofia, we now have a repository where we'll be submitting tickets when it may not be clear which part of the stack they belong to, and we're waiting to decide who will be, because basically, let's say you report something that you experience with the base app, but then we realize that this is not a base app problem, but we don't know where it is. We make a ticket in this repository, and the thing that's missing right now is you need to figure out who's going to be this, taking the task on deciding which repository is in. But once we know that, that person takes on this ticket, they figure out where it is, and then they make an issue in the correct repository, for example, middleware or SDK or whatever, and then they close the one in this temporary repository where it's like unclear. So we have that ready, and we just need to figure out for the time being who will be doing that. And yeah, once we have the HTML thing ready next week, we'll make a release with it.
Cool. Thank you, Stoyan. Yeah, I think this help desk, like unified help desk idea is a very good idea. I support that. I haven't seen the repository yet, but I'm sure I will discover it. Yeah, thank you for this update. Thank you. So we skipped Daniela, our SDK, Elixir SDK lead, you could say. So Daniela, please also give us your update from the view of the SDKs.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This week we added some new functionality in account module. Also, we worked on re-implementing and polishing our name marketplace example app. We decided to re-implement it because it is more reliable and smoother to use WebSocket instead of making frequent requests and searching for transactions associated with given account. And right now it supports only ability to sell a name, but we will also support the ability to list and buy names. We made a forum post earlier today. Also, this week we were working on investigating problems with deploying a contract in the testnet. And we found out that one of the endpoints that provides transaction info responds with few minutes delay. Currently, we're working on adding Docker container. And this is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. And one more person working on the tooling around Eternity is Martin with AE Project. So please, Martin, follow up and tell us about your week.
Okay, hey guys. So last week we were working on some known issues that were open from the community or were discovered by us. One of them was the child processes. So during the init command in the tests, we have found that we have some issues with the child processes, and we have to manage them in another way. We managed to fix that. Also, there was an issue reported by Pivo that if you have a firewall and try to run AE project in it, you have an error. We have investigated the issue. We have updated the documentation about it, and the reason is because the firewalls or any other security features of the OS are blocking the Docker functionalities. So the users must exclude this from their firewalls. So this will be updated in documentation so users would know about this. We also find a bug on Windows that the export command is unknown for it with the latest Docker Compose version, which is 1.25. Also, we have spent some time troubleshooting the AWS AE node, as also Uri helped us here. We currently haven't found the solution on it. Once we find the solution, we will post it in the forum. It's probably something related to the database, but we are not currently sure. We're working together with him and Tino on this issue. Also, we have updated some forum posts about installation of the AE project in Windows, which is related to some Microsoft build tools and latest Visual Studios. Also, we have updated the AE project version of the SDK with the latest. And also, last but not least, we have supported the token migration. We have tried to reproduce an issue that the users have seen an error message, but actually managed to migrate their token successfully. We have currently didn't manage to reproduce the issue, but yeah, if we will keep tracking this in the forum if the users are still experience this. So yeah, this is from our side for now. for this week.
Thank you, Martin. I also had a conversation yesterday with people from the Truffle team on Ethereum, mainly business people, and they were quite surprised on how advanced the stack already is around Eternity. And yeah, that might make me happy, of course. And I just want to pass this to all of you here. It was an interesting conversation. Yeah.
One more thing, sorry, something that probably is worth mentioning. We have, in the beginning of the week, we had a meeting together with PWU and Nikita from the Fire Editor, and we all took a decision that we will deprecate 2 of the 3 existing online IDs. The first of this will be the Playground, which will be deprecated as SAP. And the contracts app will be deprecated once some of the features are transferred into the Fire Editor. But for all of this, we will keep everyone from the community posted in the forum.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for also mentioning this. And I think it's a perfect switch to Nikita, who is hands-on lonely soldier on this Fire Editor. But you made a great job. So please tell us what's on your plate right now.
So yeah, currently I'm working on feature completion for the Fire Editor, namely being able to transfer values with your function calls and contract deployments. That alone itself is a really quick and easy thing to do. Unfortunately, as for right now, where we don't have any sandbox chain implementations where people can freely play around with, ideally in their browser. Everyone needs to have an own testnet key with value and everything stored in it. So there's 2 ways to provide this, and it will be having the browser wallet integrated, which will also come at one point. And the second thing, just for easier playing around, will be having a user registration with an according backend, and I'm using a third-party service for that, just to get going quicker, and so that people will be able to actually log in, also like store their contracts in the cloud if they wish to, and most importantly have their own testnet account which is associated to their username, so that everyone will be messing around with his own account and not with the currently 100 hard-coded accounts which are there right now. And yeah, their nonces will be starting to collide if people all use the same accounts, of course. So to prevent that, yeah, it's of course only also a temporary solution, because the testnet will explode at one point if 10,000 people will start, developing on it with a Fire Editor. But anyway, for now, it will be a good solution, I think, until we're gonna get the sandbox client. And yeah, I hope we're gonna get, I think by the end of the year we'll have the user sign up, logging and key management thing up and running and implemented. And yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Cool, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for participating today. And yeah, I think these are very important meetings, and all, like, everybody gives 2-3 minute updates, but it's really great to see the progress, also for me, because it's very hard to follow up in a different way, and I hope it also helps you a little bit. And yeah, I wish you all a really great weekend, and hope to see you next Friday again at 3 p.m. And thank you for participating. Have a good day. And a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Everyone, bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.